kind of get into it. What's your reaction to the news to make a change at quarterback and go with Joe instead of Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised. She didn't give me a heads up, so I respect her for doing that. It was a good courtesy call, I guess. Always tough though when you're making a change in season like that. You feel for both sides, right? I mean, it puts kind of both guys in a little weird position. You know, they're I've certainly learned from each other throughout the year. Worked closely together, and I'm sure they bounced a lot of ideas off each other for the last 5-6 months, and then to take one guy out and put another guy in, it's probably a little bit tough. So I feel for those guys in that regard, but I think now that it's been 48 hours or so since that news is broken, I think that they've both done a great job of professionalism. I think that was never a question. I think AR's handled it about as well as you could, and but we got a big test Sunday night, so just trying to avoid the moving past it. I mean, certainly you want to hype him up, and anytime you see AR, I mean, he's cares deeply about what he does and the guys in the locker room. So it's not something you just brush off, but also they got a game to play Sunday.
Ryan, just listening to Shane kind of explain his rationale. I mean, obviously there are things on the field Anthony can do better, but Shane also talked about just the preparation and off the field stuff that goes into that job. How can you, from your experience, kind of tell us just how hard it is for a young quarterback to take that on and understand the complexity of that part of the job? Yeah,
I mean, I can't speak for the quarterback position entirely. I mean, I probably worked as closely as anybody does with them. So I can only tell you that that job requires that even if it's a Tuesday off, that you're in here on Tuesday, because that game plan ultimately falls on you. I mean, you see the call sheets those coaches have, right? I mean, there could be 120, 200 plays on there, right? And you have to know the checks, the different looks on each of those, and so that's just part of the job. The other part is the cadences. It's the evaluation of defenses, the leadership qualities that you also have to partake in the huddle. And I'm speaking in generalities on all those. I mean, he's improved every day in that. I think it's still, for anybody, it's a big task. I mean, it was the same task for me. I mean, I came in the league when Andrew had already been established, so it was a little bit easier for me, but probably a better Andrew question than for me.
Ryan, is there a level of frustration for you in that here we are revolving the door one more time in that position?
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said no. I mean, it's 12 guys, so you can name them all. Good friends with all of them. Just kind of the reality, right? I mean, I think there's things in life I've learned is that I can't control every outcome. I can control what I have this day, and if I'm here every single day doing my best, I feel like then I can hang my hat on that. And in some ways, it's a blessing, right? I think I get to learn a lot from these different quarterbacks and see each of them for who they are. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I'd like to have a guy for the first time I walked in the door to the last time I left, but not reality right now. So.
Ryan, you stay. Okay, so how do you feel about just the direction of the team when the most important position in the sport keeps changing?
Yeah, I mean, look, Shane sits in that office for a reason. He's got his own office. I got a locker up sharing with 60-some other guys, right? So he makes those calls, him and Chris alone. Not necessarily a job I envy sometimes. Certainly, I think that those decisions are pretty tough to make. Like I said before, I mean, at the end of the day, like I've been through this multiple times. Every situation's been a little bit different, but one thing I've learned is like the game goes on. Like Sunday at 7:30 Central, like that ball's gonna get kicked off, and so how do I do my job the best that I can so whoever back there feels the most comfortable, whether that's was AR or it's Joe or the other 9 quarterbacks I played with along my time. I can only control what I can do.
Does it make any difference to you that this was announced early in the week rather than having a bunch of noise of like who's going to start all week and distraction at least on the outside?
I mean, yeah, I think it's a smart play to not do it on Thursday and do it on Monday. So I mean, I think it's everybody's Twitter will eventually go back to the other whatever they're talking about, election time, whatever. So but for us, it's the Vikings got a great defense, so we got to get ready for them too.
What have you seen from the Minnesota run defense? It seems like one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I mean they're a little unorthodox as compared to some of the teams that we've played so far. Everybody gets and they do blitz a good amount, but a lot of it is they just play well together. They have good players up front. Harrison Smith's been running that show for a long time now. They're just they're a little bit unorthodox in the way that a lot of defenses are shifting to in the NFL, but they play hard. They create negative plays. They get off the quarterback. So for us, another big test. I mean, I think it's just like every week. Name me one defense in the league that doesn't have a good front seven, and I'll tell you your line. So I mean, they're a great front seven, but to be back in prime time in Minnesota is a great feeling. Played there my rookie year. We won the big game in December, and then to try to play meaningful football in November, December is what you want to do.
I was going to say there is another game that you played there. Is that one that you try to put out of your mind and it doesn't come back this week?
I mean, I tried to erase the entire 22 season, so I don't remember much of it.
I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ryan, we talked on Monday about the tap out play. It's obviously general conversation. Do you think that factored into this decision?
I mean, I feel like everything factors in, right? I mean, it's every single little detail of your game, of who you are. I mean, I don't think that there's anything that they don't keep on the table or keep track of in the NFL. I mean, you're accountable for everything you do, so leave it at that.
If Bernie can't go on Sunday, how do you help out, whoever's in there at left tackle?
I mean, I think the way you've seen it, I mean, it's Tanner filled in when I missed 2 games. Tuck has now been, 3 games starting at right guard, and then Matt will get to start this week, right? I mean, I think those are 3 rookies. I mean, I looked back at the 2016 game. We also started 3 rookies that game too. So, like, yes, everybody talks about being a rookie in this league and having, growing times. Sometimes when you play offensive line, it's not always that easy, right? Like, you got to play 5 as 1. I think that's what makes our room so special. I've been talking about that since, April. Is we can only keep, 9 guys on active roster. Like, that's a minimal amount for the amount of injuries sometimes you partake in an offensive line. And so those guys got to be ready. They've been ready, and they will be ready. So there's nothing you change. You hold them to the expectation that you'd hold Bernard to or whoever else goes injured, and you just bring them along with you, right? I mean, that's why I feel like we're a band of brothers for reasons, because we have to truly rely on each other to do our job every single day, and I have no doubts we'll be ready on Sunday.
You guys, last one here. You usually don't have a lot of pre-snap stuff. You guys did have a few in Houston. Do you attribute that to anything?
Like the penalties?
Yeah.
I mean, we just got to lock in. I think that sometimes it's, I think it's working through things here and there. Hey, like, I heard this, but really it was this. We'll have a lot of loud, crowd noise today. Working through that. We know we got to eliminate pre-snap penalties and, hurting ourselves in big plays. So, no, just nothing more than just locking in.
Is some of that a young quarterback working through cadence?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the road, you're playing, and you're on silent cadence all the time. So I think it's a lot of factors that go into it. But I think a lot of it's just like, hey, I thought I heard this. Did you hear the kill call? Whatever it is. So, I mean, I think probably reading a little more into it than what it is. Just minimal things here and there we'll clean up throughout the week. And, crowd noise was getting everybody headaches yesterday. So it's certainly about as loud as it's ever going to be.
All right, Frank.
See you guys.
We got about 10 minutes.